Imagine living in a world where being yourself is literally a crime. You could not go to any movies, restaurants, or stores. You had to abide by a curfew, or else you could be arrested and sent to a concentration camp and possibly be never heard from again. Much less, you could be wiped out from the face of the earth. In Anne Frank's world, it wasn't imagination, it was real. I wanted to speak to you today because her life and her life experiences interest me, and I thought I would share it with all of you as well. For 2 straight years, Anne and her family, as well as 4 other occupants, hid in an attic above her father's business. The attic wasn't much bigger than your living room, but it was in this confined space that Anne wrote in her diary. She wrote about her dreams, her struggles, the arguments she had with her mother, and her thoughts about Peter. She also wrote about the latest news she had heard about the Nazi occupation. Her writings started to reveal not a typical teenager, but rather a young, resilient woman who was anxious to see a world of peace, humanity, and tolerance. On August 4th, 1944, just 3 days after Anne made her last entry, the Gestapo raided the secret attic and everyone was arrested. A few hours after her arrest, Miep Gies, who was one of the helpers, found her diary scattered all over the floor. She collected the diary along with all the papers and put them inside a desk drawer, vowing that she would give it back to Anne when she returned. Sadly, that day would never come. Anne Frank died in Bergen-Belsen, a concentration camp in Germany, in March of 1945. Her exact date of death is unknown. Her death was a grim reminder of the 6 million Jews that perished during the Holocaust. It is interesting, however, one of the most inspirational writers wasn't even a writer. She wasn't a poet. She didn't do anything to change the world. She was just a simple teenage girl living for the moment, with hopes, dreams, and fears. Her life is heartbreaking. Her dreams were shattered. Her struggles were typical, but she was a person who lived with endless possibilities and died with a lifelong legacy. Her personality was strong, which in turn allowed her to show great bravery. She must have had to have been extremely brave to sit in bed at night and hear the sirens taking away her friends and family. She also heard the bombs, the explosions as the war raged around her. For her to be able to handle this and still go on living a semi-normal life, as she recorded in her diary, proved that she was very brave. By writing her famous diary, Anne Frank helped the world understand that the 6 million Jews killed in the Holocaust had faces, lives, and personalities. Anne Frank has been called the human face of the Holocaust, and her personal record of her struggle to keep hope alive through the darkest days of this century has touched the hearts of millions. She helped teach people that the Holocaust did happen, and it was a horrible thing. Without her help, the world would have never known the intensity of the pain caused during this time. A boy was once so moved after he performed in a play about Anne Frank that he wrote to Otto Frank and said that he had realized that not only does Anne stand for the Jews, but for all of the humans that have suffered from his beliefs, his race, or his color. Anne Frank is a hero because she was optimistic. She was patient, unselfish, and strong. For some, she has been someone to look up to, and for others, she has been a victim of wrongdoing that will help prevent the same tragedy from happening again. She died unjustly. If she had lived, she could have been someone who was famous for her life and not her death.